Ms. Nadia Samdin.
Mr. Speaker, sir, over the years, generations have been categorized by the technological advancements of their time and also the crises and social issues that challenge their values and shape their growing years. In the past year, we've talked about children born last year as coronials and quarantines. But other than COVID-19, a longer-term issue which also has implications on survival and economic viability that is top of mind for many in my generation is climate change. Today, we know that climate change is more expensive than the environment and is entangled in our socio-economic system at large. It isn't a single issue concern. Finding and implementing solutions to climate change involve complex trade-offs, and the world we live in has entrenched barriers. The transboundary nature of climate change also requires global action. Singapore cannot go at this alone, and if we truly want to move the needle, we need to strengthen cooperation across countries and move together. Social norms will not change on their own. We need to engage more heavily in climate change education. We also need to give people enough information to make informed decisions grounded in data. Climate change solutions should be developed in a consultative manner and utilizing nature-based solutions where possible. Singapore is nimble and can set an example, playing our part in the global community. Here in our island city-state, we have felt the effects of climate change firsthand, such as warming temperatures and increased levels in annual rainfall have caused ponding during the monsoon seasons, with the rains last month making it the wettest January we've had in 30 years. And so, Mr. Speaker, sir, I am grateful for the opportunity to add my voice in support of the motion today. In focus group discussions run by the Young PAP, participants expressed hopes that climate change and sustainability can be better interwoven into our national curriculum. While geography and science subjects do touch on these topics, the teaching can be piecemeal, with little being said about the social justice element and economic impact of climate change in subjects such as social studies or character and citizenship education. Not all our students are equally equipped to discuss these issues, and they continue to see people around them leading highly unsustainable lifestyles, despite what they learn in textbooks. Would the government consider first to review the curriculum with sustainability as one of the core pillars of educational outcomes, and secondly, building responsible habits through a holistic approach so that it goes beyond a subject to a lifestyle? For example, in A-level economics, carbon policies can be discussed. And in addition, the O-level social studies syllabus discusses a globalized world, but its key concepts and content sections do not meaningfully incorporate climate change. Beyond the classroom, I'm sure many of us remember Young Scientist badges in primary school. In recent times, the community behind the Singapore Blue Plan 2018 suggested the Young Marine Biologist badge, and Temasek Foundation and the Science Centre of Singapore have also organized the Young Sustainability Champion Program. Our efforts in educating students about climate change must include hands-on approaches such as these. For example, more values in action projects can be jointly organized with community groups and civil society, such as Green Nudge, Zero Waste SG, or the Forest School, so that students are empowered to contribute to the community and also get involved in systemic climate solutions. With the Ministry of Sustainability and the Environment's announcement that more than 50,000 new and upgraded jobs will be created in the next 10 years for the sector, education and career guidance counselors can more actively introduce pathways related to climate solutions, such as sustainable finance or engineering in green technology. A whole-of-school approach would also be necessary. For example, the displaying of each cohort's trash to show the impact of their habits, or having a farm-to-table canteen. We know that our students and our schools already run a variety of programs, and our teachers and students have packed schedules. Climate change education is also an opportunity for schools to deepen partnership with other organizations in the community, such as interest groups and advocates who can come in to supplement climate change curriculum, and teachers and students can learn alongside each other together, leaning on green experts. In December 2019, a poll on climate change perceptions by the National Climate Change Secretariat in Singapore revealed that over 90% of those polled were aware of climate change and its impact, and almost 80% were prepared to play their part towards a low-carbon Singapore. However, less than half of those polled said they knew what they could do to address it. One of the reasons why environmental issues can feel foreign to us is because of its perceived intangibility. However, utilities bills and the My Carbon Footprint function by the SP Group are designed to help residential consumers better track and reduce their energy and water consumption, as well as their carbon footprint. It provides a comparison to the average consumption of neighbors in similar housing types within a block or a street in relation to landed homes. The publishing and accessibility of such information breaks down the information in a relatable and personal way for individuals. Climate change solutions come not just from the government, but also through public efforts, and I hope that more individuals take steps to actively understand their carbon footprint. In driving corporate change, while previous suggestions to publish data have been met with responses that emissions data is confidential, could an alternative be to recognize and affirm low emitters across different industries to incentivize positive behavior? Research has shown that younger buyers are more discerning consumers, and millennials and Gen Z have the spending power to influence the retail landscape through their purchasing decisions. A US Forbes 2019 report found that 62% of Gen Z who are already in the workforce prefer to buy from sustainable brands, and more than half of them stated that they are willing to spend more on such products. Collective behavioral change can ultimately influence commercial decisions, and a generation of educated consumers can only make conscious consumption choices if they have the relevant information at hand. Mr. Speaker, sir, we know that nature already mitigates a significant portion of man-made greenhouse gas emissions. Approximately a quarter of these emissions are absorbed by trees, plant, and soil, while another quarter is absorbed into marine systems. If protected, sustainably managed, and restored, nature has the power to do even more. In Malay, please. Sebagai penggemar ruang hijau dan marine, saya duka cita melihat perubahan suhu lautan yang telah menjejas beberapa spesies lautan dan menyebabkan pelunturan terumbu karang yang sebelum ini mewarnai dasar lautan. Kita harus meningkatkan kesedaran tentang ancaman perubahan iklim dan bagaimana kita sebagai masyarakat boleh mengambil langkah yang proaktif untuk menanganinya. Kita harus meneroka huraian semula jadi dan mengajak orang ramai untuk melibatkan diri untuk mengatasi perubahan iklim. Contohnya, kajian telah menunjukkan bahawa hutan bakau dan padang rumput laut mampu menyimpan lebih banyak karbon dioksida bagi setiap hektar berbanding dengan hutan-hutan yang lain. Pemerintah boleh meneroka huraian seperti ini dan melibatkan lebih ramai anggota masyarakat kita untuk meningkatkan kesedaran dan melawan perubahan iklim. Mr. Speaker, as a diver who loves our oceans, I have felt firsthand the difference in temperature in the water, seen certain species in areas where they shouldn't be, and stared in dismay at white, lifeless corals which were once alive with color when diving in the same place over the years. Climate change means warming oceans and rising sea levels, which poses a threat to reefs and marine life. Beyond just the hard engineering of polders and seawalls, mangroves, seagrass meadows, and corals can also be part of our defenses against climate change. Research has shown that mangroves can store 3 to 5 times more carbon per hectare than other forest types, and seagrass meadows are up to 35 times better than rainforests at storing carbon. Nature-based solutions also allow for more participatory development. The Sultan Shoal project, in connection with the development at Tuas, which commenced in 2013, was an example where an environmental impact study was done, public volunteers were engaged, and science, conservation, biodiversity, and development needs were carefully considered together. As more Singaporeans are interested in the conservation of our blue and green spaces over the years, such consultative efforts, although requiring more coordination, will allow for wider public participation, so more have a stake in our development and better awareness. Mr. Speaker, sir, some amendments to the motion have been put forth for consideration before the House. I appreciate the multiple voices both within and outside the House on this important topic, and hope that more will come forward with concrete proposals and solutions. When we talk about climate change, the conversation often begins with us thinking about what kind of world we want to leave for our children and grandchildren. But in order to secure this, the time to act is now, and I urge the government to accelerate and continue building on the good efforts which are in place in consultation with all stakeholders before it's too late. Thank you.